All right. So we're on. Welcome to the None of Your Business podcast. This is exciting. I'm super excited about this one. So, who are you? What do you do?
I am Meredith Burns. I'm a teacher. I teach sixth grade math. I'm a Navy veteran. I did my 4 years, got out, and then I did a lot. A lot of people consider me an athlete, but I just kind of consider myself someone that likes to work out.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. That's awesome. When did you serve?
I served from August 2008, like straight out of high school, and then I served until August 2012.
Okay. And why
So
did you get into that?
So that's a story in itself. So I grew up in a abusive household. My father was an alcoholic, and literally, like, I don't really remember much other than like my dad, like, just verbally abusing my mom constantly. And then once I got to high school, it kind of turned on me and my personality. It didn't go over too hot. So my senior year, my dad ended up kicking me out over me asking going to a friend's house, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, I guess I'm just gonna go, so I packed up my stuff, and then he said I wasn't gonna make it, so I got 3 jobs, slept on my friends' couches. I still played sports all 3 seasons. I graduated, and it was just like it was that, like, in high school I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't sit here, like, what, like, I can't go to college, I can't afford it. Um and um so I just was like, oh, I'll just join the Navy, because there was always
Mhm.
a recruiter, like, outside, at our school, and I kept seeing him, and I was like, I'll go talk to this guy. So I ended up doing that, and it was just the best for me. Like, I needed to get out. I couldn't, just stay in the same town, do the same thing. Like, I had nothing going for me at the time.
Mm, okay. That,
So
that's cool. You made a change. You took action, and
yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So, how long you been being a teacher for?
So not very long, actually. I was bartending for a really long time. I bartended downtown Orlando. I bartended all over Virginia Beach. I actually became a bar manager, but it was just getting to the point where I was like totally over the nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
I was just over, like, the stress of it, the drama. Like, it's just not. It wasn't for me anymore. So I applied to be a substitute teacher. And then at the school I'm working at now, I took on the role of being a full time sub, because the other teacher was just, basically they were relieving her. Um, so I stepped in, and I was like, I'm either going to do full time, or I'm just going to do, like, I didn't want to, like, substitute randomly. Like, I wanted to know what it felt like to teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Totally.
I did that, and then I ended up falling in love with it, and I'm actually good at it. So especially math, of all things. Like, I've never been good at math, but relearning it all and then teaching it is a lot different, I guess. And I'm older, so um but yeah, I fell in love with it, and then the principal was like, "Hey, do you want the position?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'll definitely,
Sweet.
I'm all in." Yeah. So the school's awesome, the teachers are awesome, the principal's awesome. Definitely a rough school, but I like high stress, so it kind of fits. And the kids, I'm not normal, I'm a tattooed white chick with that's, it's jacked. So like,
Yeah.
they all tell me, like, they all tell their friends that I'm like WWE, and I get to, like, body slam them and stuff. So it's like, it's pretty funny, but they're really cool. They're good kids.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
why would, like, besides you being jacked and work out a lot, why do people consider you an athlete?
I competed in bodybuilding. As soon as I got out of the Navy, in 2013 February, I did my first show. I took first place in my division overall, and then I won best posing. So that kind of just, like, set the tone for everything. And then I did a show in New York, and it qualified me for nationals, so I won that one. And then I did nationals back in 2017. And I came in like 15th out of like 40 girls.
Wow.
For my first national show, like that's not bad. I had no idea what I was getting into,
Yeah.
So, and then I actually competed last May in Orlando just to get myself out of a funk. So that
Cool.
was, yeah. It
Cool.
was,
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. I've told myself for many years, oh, this year I'll compete. Oh, this year I'll compete. And then no, I never do. I'm like, I'm just gonna eat like shit and deadlift a bunch of weight. I'm not gonna, and that's just my cop out because like I'm like, oh, as long as I'm not doing heroin, then it's okay. As long as I'm not in a toxic codependent relationship, then I'm okay. But like no, I'll abuse food just like I'm abusing heroin or whatever else. Like back in 2013, not 2013, back in 2018, I overdosed on heroin and meth because I was in a toxic codependent relationship. She got arrested. I was homeless in Vegas, and because I couldn't get out of jail, like I felt like my source of love, and like she completed me, like just toxic, codependent, gross, just absolutely like.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah. So just gross relationships. I overdosed, and then now like through this process, big reason why I started my podcast is so people don't feel like they're alone out there. Hear somebody else's story that they can use for their path to success. So like maybe not drug addiction, but like what are some of your struggles and like how did you overcome them?
So in 2009, I got to literally like maybe 2 weeks into my first duty station, I got a phone call, and it was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was out drinking with my friends, and I was sleeping. So I mean, I didn't hear it, but I woke up and I'm like, my mom called me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's weird, like, and like instantly I was like grandparents, you know what I mean? So like, you just got that feeling that something was off. And like, I literally just thought like, okay, when my grandparents, just prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I called my mom and she couldn't say anything. So she handed the phone over to my dad. And then my dad told me, hey, so your brother isn't with us anymore. And my older brother to me was like my idol. Like, I played basketball because of him. Like, I got good grades because of him. When I got kicked out of my house, he was the only person that talked to me in my entire family. Every Sunday he would pick me up and we would watch football. And like, he would like make sure I stayed out of trouble because he knew I was partying and like being crazy, but like he wasn't being overbearing either. But he was like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be there at this time on Sunday. So make sure you're not like too hungover, So like, he was there for me. And then like, that was beyond traumatic. And because I didn't like, I went on leave for like a week and a half to like mourn, his loss. I mean, I didn't even mourn it. And then I went straight back into the military, which I'm brand new to this. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. And then we go on a deployment. So I have zero like processing of my brother passing away.
Yeah.
So it's like, he died. Hey, here's life. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I got in, it was rough. It was super rough. Like, mentally it destroyed me. And then I got into drinking heavy. I mean, I don't remember. And I tell people, I don't remember like 2009 to probably like about 2010. I don't remember much of it at all because I was like snorting Vicodin, Percocets, and drinking on top of it.
Yeah, just trying to cover up your emotions.
Yeah, because I was numbing myself. I had
Yeah.
no idea how to process it. Like, I didn't have friends. I didn't have anyone like secure in my life. So like that was, that was super rough. But that's kind of what got me into fitness.
Yeah.
So like, I had a first class and he was awesome, and he redirected that. Like, I don't even think he knew he did it at the time, but he was just trying to keep me out of trouble because he liked me.
Yeah.
So he was like, I came into work, didn't sleep, still smelled like Jameson, like straight like booze, and I was 19 at the time, so I wasn't even legal to drink. So he like looked at me, he's like, you smell like a bar. I was like, yep. I'm like, yeah, I do. Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm not even gonna deny it or like lie. He's like, well, if you come in here like that again, I'm gonna take you to the MA's office, so Master Arms, like military police.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So he knew by noon I was going to be hungover. So we went on lunch break. He came and got me. He's like, "Yo, you're coming to the gym with me." I was like, "I'm what?" And he's like, "I'm dead serious." He's like, I'm like, "Fine," you know what I mean? Because you'd like take orders from like, who you work above you, like whatever. So I was like, "Okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna fight this." So I'm
Yeah.
like working out, dying, like hungover as shit, like, So like, oh no, it's funny because I hated it at the time, and I was so mad. I was like, this guy is like making me work out. I was like, I'm hungover. I don't want to do this. But like every day, like I started to realize, I'm like, okay, he's gonna do this every day. So I'm like, I really do have to come to work like sober. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I really don't want to get in trouble, and I really don't want to feel like extra crap. So, but I mean, it's funny how like literally like that addiction literally transitioned into fitness for me. And as soon as he like started teaching me all these movements, and I started like really getting into it, I became like insanely obsessed.
Oh,
I mean, I would go on bodybuilding.com. I taught myself all the movements. I would watch videos. I read like so much about nutrition. And then I stopped. I would say I probably drank like after that, I might have drank like 3, 4 times a year, like holidays, birthdays, stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Totally.
And I mean, that's how it all started. And then I just haven't really stopped since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 You're in very good shape. That's awesome. Like I don't
Yeah.
like we're like there are people like as lean as you and as big as you, but like not really where I'm from. So
Yeah.
it's like, damn, in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like if I saw you walking down the street, I would not want to piss you off.
I get that a lot.
So,
I get
yeah.
that a lot. Yeah.
Uh,
No.
so, what was like when you were trying to like cope with your brother passing, and I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing that with my audience and me.
Yeah.
Like, and then going into the Navy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
were you already in basic training, or were
Yep.
you? So you already went, okay. And that, like, I've never experienced that, but isn't basic training pretty hard? Like,
Do you want to be honest? I
yeah,
was so I was so disappointed. Like I was like, I've had basketball camps that are harder than this. Like it's just but I think that's because I've been such an athlete my whole life. Like people around me struggled, but like me being athletic, I was like, okay, well, I have to get so many push-ups. So like every night before I go to bed, I'm gonna do push-ups. I'm gonna do sit-ups. So like but that's my mindset, you
okay,
know. So to me it wasn't hard. I can see where it's if you aren't an athlete and you go into something like that, how it's definitely going to be a struggle,
okay,
but
okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. Like, I've never experienced, like, I went to this youth challenge, like, National Guard when I was like 17. It was like one of my attempts to get sober, but it's like not like nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I, yeah. But, so so I know you said that you're drinking a lot, but like
Mhm.
going on deployment, like what was like your day-to-day thinking, like trying to overcome, like just dealing with what was going on?
So the thing with the military is I don't know what it because so when you go on deployment, it's like this is a huge flaw of mine. I've actually like tried to get better at it. So I am so good at like going from like having like a really big connection with someone, but I can shut it off like fast, like no emotion, gone. Like
Really?
yeah. So and I think that has a lot to do with deploying is because when I leave my friends and family, I have to I have to be ready. Like I have to be ready for
Mm,
anything. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah.
can't think of people back home,
Okay.
while we're out to sea and I
Yeah.
mean, we were loading bombs into planes when Libya was hot. So it's like you don't know what could happen. So you kind of just shut it off. It's just a switch. And literally every person that's ever gone on deployments will tell you the same thing. You just shut it off.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, like like that's why for such a long time I didn't cope with it. And I didn't even realize I was doing it, until I got older. I'm like, this is why my relationships fail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is why, I've lost tons of friends. Like, and it's just because, like, I don't know how to communicate that part, like, of how I'm feeling. I just completely turn it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you're aware of it,
Mhm.
like now what's the thought process when you realize that like you're like in the moment when you're doing that?
So when it's so weird because I get like this really weird, like hot feeling in my stomach,
Yeah.
when I start to like feel like I'm about to just shut someone out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I actually write or text out a response, like, to myself.
Oh.
And so I know, because I'm telling myself how I feel. And then, like, once I tell myself how I feel, I kind of like break it down a little bit more so I can tell that person how I feel. And like sometimes what I'll do is like, hey, like, you need to give me like 5 minutes. Like, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you how I feel, because
Okay.
I need to process how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking instead of just like completely getting upset, blacking out, and like walking away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a huge journal, and I mean, I started writing a lot just because there's like a lot of things that I'm working on, and that's one of them. And it's actually helped me a lot, especially like with my friendship with my best friend Mary of 10 years. It's well, with her, it's to a point where like I'm like, hey, give me a second. And she knows what I'm doing. She knows I'm like processing the thought before I'm like saying it.
Yeah.
So she'll give me a
Totally.
second. She's like, just tell me. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'll tell her.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. I have a pause tattoo on my wrist because like
Nice.
I will like overthink everything, like either 0 to 100
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
And my best friend Michael, she'll be like, dude, just pause. Like look at your wrist, just pause. Like chill the fuck out, man. And that
Yep.
like I need that. I need that reminder to just pause, like expect like just really see what it really is. Like just
Yep.
because like I think it doesn't mean that it's real.
Yep.
Does not
Yep.
mean what it's real. Just because that person, that this water bottle thinks I'm an idiot does not mean it's real.
Yep.
So being able to like step back and realize that, and I love that. I might steal the text messaging thing.
It
Um,
helps. It
I
really does.
I might
And it's stopped me from saying really mean things. So it's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I should not say that. Like, just we'll edit that a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I like that because like I need a rough draft of what I'm gonna say, or
Mm-hmm.
that person just will not want to talk to me again, or
Yep.
the cops will come lock me up and put me in like mental hospital.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
either or. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like that.
Yep. Well, the thing
Um,
is too, and another thing I learned is like, because I have become a lot more confident in myself and like how I have started to perceive things and understand things, where I'm like, when someone is mean to me or says something mean, I'm also very like, that person isn't really being mean to me. They're actually just like projecting how they feel onto me. So like
yeah.
I don't get as mad, when I'm talking to someone, because I'm like, and then I'm like, hey, like it kind of like stops me in my tracks, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, like, are you sure that's how you feel about me, or is that really like how you feel about yourself? And some
Mhm.
people are like kind of taken back by it, or they're mad or whatever, but like at least I'm making them think like, maybe she's right. Because like I'll never say anything mean to anyone. Like, I just won't, because I don't feel that way about myself.
Yeah.
you know and even if it's someone I don't like, I'm not going to say anything mean to them, because it's just like, that's your life. I don't care. Like, just you do you. But
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that you're showing the mirror. You're just putting a mirror in their face and like, is this
Yeah.
really what you are looking
Mhm.
at? Like, do you really feel this way?
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And having that opportunity when people like show me myself, I'm like, oh fuck, thanks.
Yeah.
I've been an
Yeah.
asshole. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like how you're doing that already. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool actually. So and where did you pick up the text messaging idea? Like for yourself?
Well, because like what I knew, so like one thing that I was trying to do with my emotions was like, just say how you feel. Just say it. Like, don't hold it up. Just like, it doesn't even matter. Just word vomit. You know what I'm saying? But then like my word vomit came off extremely harsh. And I'm like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Even though I am being honest, it's not being honest in a way that is going to get through to the other person.
Yeah.
So instead of like texting them right away, I'll go in my notes and I'll text them, but I'll read through it. And then I'm like, okay, this is how I want to say it. Instead of being so like reactive, I like take a step back where I pause, like you do. And it like helped me process how I wanted to say things better.
Yeah.
And I'll even do that, like, even if like I feel emotionally triggered with something, and because binge eating, like I've had an eating disorder since I was in high school. Either I didn't eat or like I just ate my face off.
Yeah.
Like there was no in between. And so like if I feel like I'm stressed or I have something going on that makes me want to like binge eat, I'm like, okay, why am I getting this feeling again? And I'll text out my emotions to myself, and I'm like, or I'll write in a journal like, okay, this is what happened today. This is why I'm feeling this way. I am feeling this way. This is why I want to eat food. You know what I mean? And I just like break it down. And then like once I see it on paper, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Because it kind of makes me like, I'm very visual.
Yeah. I get that. Man, yeah. I like that. I'm definitely stealing that one. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I like that a lot. Because like if the first thing that I do is look at my phone in the morning and I see something I don't like, I'm just going absolutely insane. And like I've told you before, like out of 4 out of 7 days a week, I do my morning routine. Like that's a good week. Some weeks it's not 4 out of 7 days, but I keep trying. Like I keep trying, and like I'm not perfect. I didn't come to the world a perfect human being. I'm a perfect child of God or whatever my higher power is, but like I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make mistakes, and like that took me so fucking long to realize that. Like, oh my god. Like, and like I don't regret like anything that I did, because I'm the person that I am today, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for where I am right now in my life, especially during what's going on in the world. Like, my job is helping people, and that's fucking kick ass. Like, I might get called a faggot all day, but like I'm still helping people. So
well, that's exactly like, and that's the thing too, is like it took me, especially in bodybuilding, when you're being critiqued on your image, it messes with your head so bad. So you constantly feel like you have to maintain this image, especially in the fitness industry, where you have to be shredded all year round. You have to like do this. You know what I mean? Like, so that really got to me for a long time. And honestly, probably until like this year, I realized like, just go with the flow. Like, I'm not perfect. Like I am the furthest thing from perfect. I'm human, and I don't want to be perfect. Like I just think it would be so boring. It would be so boring if everyone was perfect. Like no one would care about anybody. You know what I mean?
Right? I'm so perfect. Look at me.
Well, that's the thing. No one would be on Instagram or on social media because everyone would just have their perfect life. Like no one would care. Be like, oh, well, my life is perfect to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're not trying to live, and I was trying to live like this life, in this fitness world that I wanted so bad. And it was just a show. It wasn't real. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't happy. I hated myself. I was so insecure. I mean, you would never catch me with my shirt off, ever. Really? Oh my God! Unless I was getting ready for a show. Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Not crazy. Just like it. It's nice. Not nice. I like hearing that. No, I don't like hearing that. That's not the right word.
No.
It's nice to know that, like, for the people that are listening, like, oh, she might have or he, she, whatever. I'm not calling you he, she. That came out wrong. I'm sorry.
You're good.
He or she might have the perfect body, but they're still insecure about themselves. Like, I'm sorry that you went through that, but like, I think, like a 13-year-old girl looking at the, a magazine of this model, like, and all the
Yep.
insecurities that that young girl was having, like
Yep.
having somebody who has the perfect body still feeling like that, and like
Mhm.
you don't need it. You don't need it.
No. And that's the thing too, is like there are so many fitness models, like whatever, that like even celebrities, they're so insecure. Like they are so insecure with their image, who they are, like whatever. But once I took the path to like really heal myself on the inside, like one, my body was just responding because I wasn't stressed. So my cortisol levels went down. And it was just like I wanted to eat healthier. I wanted to take care of my body. I wanted to take care of my mind. Like it was just one of those things that kind of just flowed. And now that I'm not saying I'm like completely healed, but for the most part, like I'm at peace. Like I'm at peace with my past. I forgave my dad. I forgave, everyone that hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that is confidence. Like that right there is like what is going to show on the outside.
Absolutely.
And like, and I tell people all the time, like you rent your body. Like you're not, you're renting your body right now. Cause when it dies, like, you know what I mean? Like that's it. Like it's so, I mean, take care of it now, be healthy, but be healthy to live longer, be able to move, go outside, be active.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you die insecure or you die like not in peace, like I think that would be one thing I would regret, is just not being at peace, like with everything that's happened to me.
Yeah, totally. So kind of back on that, living in regret, not really regret, but if you were going to tell the younger version of yourself, 5, 8, 19, whatever, just the younger version of yourself, something to help you get through life, like what would it be?
It would be, see, it's hard because I really like like even though my story was rough, it was, I mean, I think I did all right. I would just tell them, like, just don't quit. Like, don't give up on, don't give up on love. Don't give up on being a good person. Don't give up on your morals and values. Um, you know, just don't, just don't let like the darkness like consume you, and I mean, that would definitely be like something I said. Like one thing my brother told me, and I have it tattooed on my back, is he always said, always love, never hate, you know? So like, I remember we were sitting at like on our old swing set, at our first house, and my dad and mom were arguing. And I was like, man, I just hate dad. I was like, I hate him. And he's like, no, 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 no. He's like, you don't hate him. He's like, you love him. He goes, you just don't like him. He goes, you always love and you never hate. And like that stuck with me forever. And I mean, like even people that were mean to me, like I was still always nice. Like was I perfect? No, there were times that I definitely blew up and I said things I shouldn't have. But like I always like either came back and apologized, or I never got super bitter towards people that hurt me.
Okay.
And until I got like a little older, and like I did get bitter, but I didn't let it consume me. So that's like something in the back of my mind I always like thought about.
Always love, never hate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So when you're not teaching kids or being swole, like what do you do in your free time?
I am really active. Like, so I went back and I looked at my Apple Watch just to see how many miles I did last month on my bike, and I did like over 170.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I skateboard, ride my bike. I go hiking, I go to the beach. My thing lately has been, I'm actually probably after this, I'm going to take Kate and we're going to go watch the sunset on the beach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I just like I'm very like active. Like I like being outside. I haven't even watched TV since the whole quarantine started, not once.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
on.
I read a lot. My goal is to read 10 pages every day at least.
That's nice.
So, it's a lot of, it's just a lot of like, I guess, internal stuff that I enjoy doing. Like, yeah.
What type of books do you like reading?
So right now I'm reading The Mastery of Love. It's by, I can't think off the top of my head. I know his last name's Ruiz because that's my maiden name.
Yeah.
Or not maiden, my married name.
Don Miguel.
Yeah. So him, Jocko's books, just a lot of like like Dr. Amen, I read his End Mental Health, or yeah, the End of Mental Health, mental health or mental illness, End of Mental Illness. You know, because I'm actually, my bachelor's in psychology, so I find like it extremely infatuating, like the human mind, and
Yeah.
you know why we do certain things and why addicts do this, and you know, so like I'm constantly like trying to, you know, educate myself on, you know, stuff like that, so I can relate to people more, and even like relate to myself more, like why did I do this, you know? So a lot of it has to do with like mental health. I'm just really infatuated with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love The Mastery of Love. I love all their books. 5 Levels of Attachment. I'm reading the 7 Secrets of a Happy, Healthy Relationship.
Oh.
Don Miguel Jr. wrote it with somebody else. I like it. I love all their books. They're, well, everyone that I've read. I haven't read all their books, but I love,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I love that stuff. So if you were going to wake up and have the perfect day, like, besides, say this quarantine thing didn't exist, and you could wake up and be wherever you wanted and do whatever you wanted, like, what would your perfect day look like?
I don't even know if 24 hours would be long enough. I mean, like I'm very routine. Um, so I would stick with my routine. I'd wake up, I'd read 10 pages, I'd have my coffee, shower, get ready. But if I could do anything, like I would teach my kids, honestly. Like they have done so much for me. Um, they just made me realize like a lot of things, like how I don't know how to explain it. Like just because they do come from such broken homes, you know, that like I wish more people actually cared
Yeah.
about, you know, everyone's like complaining about like our future generation. I'm like, well, are you doing anything to help? You
Yeah.
know, like are you making sure the school system is actually providing, you know, things for these kids? Like, are you going out in the community and like cleaning up the neighborhoods? Are you going to talk to these kids? Are you mentoring them? You know, so like to me, like if you're gonna complain about something, then at least do something about it, you know. But like these kids really are like they give me hugs every day, like, and they don't like any of their teachers. So like the fact that they like come up to me and like hug me and like they just want to be with me, it got to a point where like I literally had to tell the kids like you guys have to go to your class, like because I would have probably like 15 kids and just try to skip all their other classes just so they could hang out in my class, and they didn't want to do anything, they just want to hang out in my class. They
Yeah.
weren't being loud, they weren't being rowdy, and I'm like, guys, like y'all are gonna get me in so much trouble. Like I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
and even at lunchtime, the only break I had, like I had a group of girls, like, you know, they were just they were going through some drama and like a lot of stuff at home, and you know, I'm like at my lunch, I'm like, I just want a break, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? Like, just I'll suck it up. Just come up here, sit here, eat your lunch, you know, be quiet, whatever. And they would. But like to me, that's fulfilling. Like that is more fulfilling than I mean anything I've done. So I mean that makes me happy, and then I go home, go to the gym, and hang out with my kid, you know? So, like, I don't know. I'm just really simple, and I feel like giving is more important than, like, going and doing something, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
like
No,
my dream
totally.
or whatever. I don't know. Because I know I could do whatever I wanted, you know? I mean, I'm very capable. I know what I'm capable of, but, like, that to me is my happy.
Yeah. No, totally. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super
Yeah.
cool. So, what is your message to the world?
Um, just don't give up. And like the thing is too is like stop conforming. Like just stop conforming to what, you know, your parents told you, what your teachers tell you. You know, I mean I know their intentions are good, but like what someone is projecting onto you doesn't mean that's who you are. So
Absolutely.
just be who you want to be, and don't be bitter, don't like be forgiving, you know, be loving. um it's just life is way too short for one. It's way too short, and I regret. I'm not gonna say I regret because I learned from it, but I wish I learned a long time ago to forgive, let go, and just let everything be. Don't try to control anything. Literally go with the flow. because that's where I think people get lost, is they just try to be so controlling, and then, you know, they're influenced by media, whatever. Just be your own person. Just literally be free, like just completely free yourself from everything, you know, and work on it daily.
I like that. I like that a lot. You know, if like somebody wants to start like eating healthier and working out and go in the direction that you went, like, is there like 3 tips that you could give them, like mistakes that you made that you wish that like you would have learned earlier or something like that?
Well, first would be, you know, create habits, you know, create healthy habits. Like get a planner. I have a planner, and I literally, I religiously write in that thing. Like I'll plan out like a week, 2 weeks in advance but of just my basic routine, not even just life in general. And I hold myself accountable, check it off as I go, you know. So create a routine that's healthy for you, that you can do consistently. Whether, you know, for example, for me, I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock. Right now it's 5 o'clock because I don't have to, you know, go to work. I immediately wake up, you know. Lately I've been getting on my phone, which I'm not doing anymore, but I go straight to reading 10 pages. Then I go into 5-10 minutes of meditation. Then I have my cup of coffee. Then, you know, I shower, get ready, you know. So like like things like that, like it sounds so small, but just creating habits like that is going to start setting you up to, you know, hold yourself accountable to go to the gym, go for a walk. Even if you're not like gym ready, do 45 minutes of a walk a day. 45, that's it. You know, do 10 push-ups a day, do 10 squats a day, you know, do body weight stuff that's going to get you moving and get you in a routine, you know, and then you're just going to start feeling better. And then you're also creating mental health, like you're creating healthy habits. So like subconsciously, like you're going to start to want to do these healthy things. um and I tell people all the time, like, do research. Like all the answers are literally in your hand. Like to, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, you coach me. I'm like, I will send you in the right direction. Like I would love to, but I have too much going on in my life right now, and I don't like taking money. It's just weird to me. It's because I think just because it's such a natural thing for me, I don't like taking money from people for that. So I tell people, I'm like, listen, go to bodybuilding.com, like go to this, go like, and I give them all these resources. I'm like, just read. It's not rocket science. It is literally not rocket science. All the answers are on the internet. You know, just do some research, teach yourself. There's videos, you know, if you don't know how to do a lift, and that's fine. I mean, that's because that's exactly how I taught myself. You know, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a coach for, I don't even know, probably until 2016. I didn't have a coach. And that's like 4 or 5 years into me lifting, you know?
And were you competing before then?
Yeah.
Wow. And you, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you. That's wow.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like, it's just because like, I mean, to me, like one, I don't like spending money. So two, like, you know what I mean? And I just felt like if I taught myself, then like, you know, why not? But then I did get to a point where I was like, okay, like I do need help. And if I want to get to the next level, and, you know, so I hired a coach. But then I learned from my coach. I was always picking their brain, asking them questions like, well, why? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I definitely think like a coach can help, but I think the best thing I did was teach myself.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
the third thing is to be patient, because it is literally, I've been doing this for 11, is it 11? About like roughly 11 years, 10, 11 years of just lifting consistently, you know, like I didn't do this in 2 years. Like it took a long time, you know, to get my body to respond the way that it does. And now it's just how I am, and my body's like, nope, this is how you're gonna look, like, you know. So I mean, and it's just being consistent, because I have so many young girls that are like, I want to get into bodybuilding. I'm like, you need to lift consistently and get in a healthy habit with food for at least 3 years before you even want to step on stage.
Wow. That's yeah. I've never heard anyone say that ever. So
I mean, I think it's healthy and it's smart,
yeah,
because if you're
no. Like
creating,
I think that's a really good piece of advice. Like,
yeah.
yeah. No, I'm definitely agreeing with you. That's
because it's an unhealthy sport. It is such an unhealthy sport,
Yeah.
like on so many levels, like with the stress of all the cardio and all the lifting and being depleted and like creating habits with food that are not healthy, and then you have body dysmorphia, and then you go from like being super shredded and looking the way you've always wanted to look, and then like you eat like a French fry and you gain water weight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you can't completely separate all those up
Yeah.
and understand what your brain is doing, like you should not compete in the sport at all whatsoever.
A really good point. Now that you like said that, like all my friends that like compete, I'm just like thinking about like how they do it, and it's just like fuck,
Mm-hmm.
like they weren't
It's
ready.
yeah, it's and that's the thing too. It's not a sport you can rush, and like I'm not huge into like, I've never done steroids, so you know what I mean. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm natural, but I've never done anything hard, and I didn't for health reasons. But I also know I don't have to, because I literally took so much time to eat healthy consistently for so long. Like my muscle is so dense because I've eaten so healthy for so long and I've trained consistently, that like if I did want to compete again, I'd probably do really well, without barely doing anything.
Yeah.
So, and like that's another thing too, is like you have that crap just thrown in your face, like you need to go on this. It's like, do you, or do you just need to take time in order to be healthy, and
Yeah.
then you know what I mean, like maybe toy around with it if you have to, like you might not even have to.
Yeah. Take the time. Don't be so rushed that you gotta hit McDonald's every day.
Yeah, I mean the stage is not going anywhere. It's gonna be there, you
Yeah.
know. And I think people I mean, well, that's like society today. They just want like fast now, like, you know, like that. What's the word?
Instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. When like I took a job at McDonald's after like I overdosed on in the hospital and was like trying to build my life up again, and like if you parked someone, like they would like freak the fuck out. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's fast food, it ain't instant food. Yeah, go park your car, man. You
Yeah.
just ordered 30 seconds ago and you want like
Yeah. Yes.
fuck. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's crazy where the society is today.
And that's the thing. Just be patient. I wish I appreciated the process more. Every step of the way. Like I mean, and I've thought about it. I'm like, it would be so cool if I did do a show right now, because mentally I'm just like, I'm there. You know what I mean? Like I would enjoy every step of the way. I wouldn't stress out, you know, but I mean, I know I'll compete again. I'm not going to say I'm not, because I mean, I love the sport, but the next time I do, it's going to be really cool. Like going through the whole process, you know?
I know you document a lot on Instagram, but when you decide to go on stage again, you should document that more.
Yeah, yeah. I usually go into hiding, and it's so funny that I used to do that. I don't know why I did. Like I wouldn't like hide, but like I would never tell anyone I was doing a show. I would just like step on stage, and they're like, "We knew you were doing a show." I'm like, "Yeah, I was shredded as hell. Like, of course I was doing a show." like, yeah,
Okay, that makes sense that you do that.
yeah,
Just get
yeah.
hyper focused and go. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even just that. That's my whole like turning off that switch thing too. Like I was just like, in my head, I'm turning off the switch like with everyone else on the outside. I know
yeah,
what's going on,
yeah,
and and that's why I think it would be so interesting now, because I am so self-aware that like it would just be really cool to like get back on stage and just see where my mind goes with the whole process.
yeah. Awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be way cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whenever this thing ends, we're in phase 1 right now, so it's yeah. So hopefully it will go in phase 2. So
Hopefully.
my gym just posted on Instagram that they're gonna open on the 15th.
That's awesome.
I hope that they do, because it's time. So you are big about morning routines. Do you have a nightly routine?
Not really. I mean, nightly routine is kind of where I just like chill. Like I just do whatever I'm in the mood to do. I let myself decompress. Like
Yeah,
I
totally.
actually like I get off my phone, I stopped texting, people as much. Like I started painting again. So well, not again. This is actually the first time I've ever painted. I got back into art again.
Okay.
So like I've been painting. I mean, I'll read. I'll go for a walk. Like I'll just, go for walks outside. I don't know. It's just like my decompression time before like I go to sleep. It's
Yeah,
not
for sure.
really like, because I think there is a point in the day where it shouldn't be so routine. You just kind of just
Yeah.
like let yourself go and let yourself be a little bit.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense for sure. Just
yeah,
unwind and
yeah, like do
yeah.
whatever you want to do. Like it's almost like a Friday night. If you want a beer, have a beer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense. So
yeah.
where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram. It's Meredith Burns, MEredithBurns with 3 S's. I have Facebook, Meredith Burns. I mean, I do have a TikTok. It's the same as my Instagram, but I'm not as active on it. It's usually just like me being really weird and like me with my son. So I don't know. It's just that's more of like me having fun, not necessarily like anything else. But yeah.
Right on. I try to use TikTok, but like I'll use it for like a couple days. I'm like, no, I'm deleting this. Like I'm not doing it. And I'll try it again. I'm like, no, not doing it. And then
It's so addicting.
I'll yeah,
uh,
right
it's
on.
good though.
Cool. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
thank you, Meredith. I appreciate your time.
yeah. Absolutely. No, this was fun.